What's up guys, Vulkan here, and today we are talking about an upcoming cyberpunk action RPG called The Ascent. This was revealed today on the Inside Xbox livestream. They were debuting some of the new games coming to the Xbox Series X. I know that's a lot of X's that we're talking about here, but it's not only coming to consoles, it's also coming to PC via Steam. Now obviously that was downplayed because this is an Xbox event, but a quick check out on Steam confirmed that it is coming this year, 2020, as well to both consoles and PCs. So what is The Ascent? Well, like I said, first off, it takes place in a cyberpunk world, which is fantastic. I'm getting a little tired of the high fantasy, and every action RPG goes that direction. So cyberpunk, sci-fi, all of that stuff, I welcome it. Let's go, because we need something a little bit different. Variety is the spice of life. So The Ascent follows a mega corporation that owns you and everyone else, known as the Ascent Group. And the Ascent Group collapsed. The whole thing just gone. And after that, two things happened. One, all the people that corporation owned, so the slaves, the workers, you, all became instantly free. So some people take the opportunity to run, other people want a little bit of payback, so they pick up some weapons and they're ready to kind of take it to the Ascent Group, whoever's still left. But in addition to that, part two, you also have gangs, you have other hostile corporations that are looking kind of slide into that spot and pick up where the Ascent Group left off. So the game itself is going to take you through different maps, all exploring the Ascent Group arcology, and arcology is basically a mega structure that suits densely populated locations, and it's supposed to be good for the environment, but you can kind of tell they don't really care too much about pollution. It doesn't look very environmentally friendly. But through this whole thing, you're going to be making allies as well as enemies. So they make sure to call that out. You're going to be having conversations. I'm assuming we're going to be having conversations with different corporations and different warlords that are looking to take over that Ascent Group's position. And we'll most likely have to make some alliances with some of them. And it's going to be one of those pick your poison type of deals, I'm assuming. The maps themselves range from higher luxury spheres to the slums, just basically going over all the different districts, and you're going to be interacting with people throughout each one. The game itself does feature a loot system, so there's going to be shooting, there's going to be looting. They did call out, consider enemies' height and weaknesses into account when fighting, making the most out of every opportunity. Take down even the worst opponents to find the rarest loot. Now, the thing that's kind of interesting here is taking enemies' height and weaknesses into consideration. Weaknesses, that makes sense. If something's weak against fire, sure, use fire. But height, that's weird. So are we going to have basically like a super tall guy that you can't use certain things? Maybe you can't like run up to him and melee him because he's just bigger than you are and he's going to manhandle you. Or maybe it's something smaller. So if you're trying to use like a crossbow or maybe like a laser beam, then the enemy is going to be underneath that beam, so you're not going to be able to use it as effectively. I'm not entirely sure, but it's kind of an interesting thing to bring into this type of game. And they did make mention of loot, so the only loot we know about right now are customizations and augments. They say modify your body with cyberware and gear up with weapons and equipment that suit your playstyle. Take a slick and precise approach, or arm yourself to the teeth and go full chrome. So here's something I'm kind of curious about. Games like this, and it resembles a twin stick shooter, but games like this typically put RPG elements on the back burner. They're not exactly the focus of the game. The focus of the game is typically your teamwork and typically your combat. Whereas something like this, maybe we might see a little bit of shift where we don't have just a primary and a secondary weapon and a couple slots to put your gear into. Maybe we'll see a Diablo style or a World of Warcraft style thing where we have a gear slot for each kind of position on the body, hands, bracers, chest, legs, boots, helmet, things like that. I would love to see a game like this really explore and expand upon those RPG elements. So that's me crossing my fingers. They don't mention anything. We just see this picture of this guy with 4 arms. He looks like he has some cool stuff going on, and that's about it. Beyond that, we do know that this is a solo and a co-op game, so you can play by yourself if you want, or you can party up with 4 total players, so you and 3 friends, in local or online co-op, and go out and play and have a good time. So right now, that's all we know about The Ascent. I'm going to be keeping my eye on it, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this upcoming game? I'm glad that we're finally getting something outside of high fantasy and into cyberpunk. Let's get a conversation rolling downstairs. That wraps this one up, guys. Thank you so much for all the support. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.